Welcome back, everyone. I am so thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. Today, we're focusing squarely on a very specific, highly thought-provoking piece of text, ACIM, Lesson 22. If you've been tracking with this material, you know it throws some fascinating curveballs at how we perceive reality. But this lesson, wow. It fundamentally challenges the entire foundation of how we look at the world around us and everyone in it. It's a truly fascinating approach to perception. So let's jump right in and see if it completely shifts how we see things today.
Okay, let's dive into this. The entire lesson today revolves around one, let's be honest, incredibly bold statement. What I see is a form of vengeance, right? It sounds intense. When you first read that, your immediate reaction might even be a little jarring. But listen, don't let the word vengeance freak you out. We are going to unpack exactly what this bold claim actually means. It's not here to scare us. It's actually meant to show us exactly how our own minds are operating behind the scenes, usually without us even having a clue.
Section 1, the vicious circle of attack. So to really get that opening statement we just read, we first need to look at this invisible psychological trap the text points out. It basically diagnoses a really harsh cycle that pretty much all of us fall into on a daily basis. The root of the whole problem? Projection. The text says that anyone who holds attack thoughts in their mind absolutely must see the world through this lens of projection. But what does that mean for us? Well, it means we take our internal anger, our frustrations, our own hostile thoughts, what they call attack thoughts, and we literally paste them onto the external world. We are painting our surroundings with our own negativity. We look around and think, wow, the world is such a dangerous, angry place. But the reality is, we are actually the ones projecting that anger outward first. Wild, right? And this projection, it spirals into a complete loop incredibly fast. The text walks us right through the progression step by step. Step 1, we hold attack thoughts in our mind. Step 2, because we're holding those thoughts, we project that anger straight out onto the world. Step 3, having projected it, we look out and suddenly we see vengeance about to strike right back at us. We literally think the world is coming to get us. Which leads to step 4, we lash out to defend ourselves. But here is the absolute kicker. Because of this loop, our own attack is completely misperceived as self-defense. We think we're just protecting ourselves from a cruel world, totally blind to the fact that we started the cycle by projecting our own anger. It just becomes this increasingly vicious circle. Which leads us to this incredibly direct question straight from the source material. What peace of mind is possible to him then? I want you to really think about that for a second. If someone is trapped in a loop where their entire world is populated by thoughts of attack and counterattack, if they are constantly preoccupied with defending themselves against a world they've painted with their own anger, how utterly exhausting must that be? The text makes it super clear. As long as we are stuck in this vicious circle, peace of mind is absolutely impossible. You just can't be at peace when you're constantly bracing for impact.
Section 2. Escaping the savage fantasy.
And this brilliantly illustrates the turning point. The lesson doesn't just leave us stuck in that dark place. We can shift right now from this heavy problem to an amazingly reassuring solution. The text actually refers to this exhausting loop of attack and defense as a savage fantasy. I love that phrasing. It's savage because it is so incredibly cruel to us, but it's a fantasy because it ultimately just isn't true. And that means we can escape it. Look at the contrast. On one side, the savage fantasy. The text tells us, frankly, you made what you would destroy, everything that you hate and would attack and kill. That is the heavy illusion we spin with our minds. But look at the other side, the joyous news. The text asks, is it not joyous news to hear that it is not real? Is it not a happy discovery to find that you can escape? The ultimate takeaway here is huge. All that you fear does not exist. That hostile world you keep defending yourself against, not real. It's just your own projected anger bouncing back at you.
Section 3. Your daily practice guide.
Okay, so how do we practically break this cycle and stop projecting? The text gives us a very strict, practical how-to manual for today's exercise. Here are your physical practice parameters, right from the source. You need to do this at least 5 times today. You'll spend at least 1 minute each time you do it. And this last part is absolutely key. As you do this, you need to move your eyes slowly from one object to another, from one body to another. The directive here is explicitly asking you to slow down. Don't rush this. Just take your time, breathe, and let your eyes casually rest on the things around you. So as your eyes are slowly moving and resting on different objects or bodies around the room, you are going to silently say a series of phrases to yourself. The first one is, I see only the perishable. So you look at a chair or a window or a person and just let that thought settle in your mind. You are simply acknowledging the temporary physical nature of all the stuff you normally assign so much fearful meaning to.
Then, you let your eyes move slowly to the next object and silently tell yourself, I see nothing that will last. You really want to mirror the meditative pace of the practice here, nice and slow. You're gently reminding your brain that this entire world of physical forms you're so busy attacking and defending against is entirely temporary. Then, as you continue to gently sweep your gaze across the room, the third phrase you repeat to yourself is, what I see is not real. This is where the core idea really clicks into place. You are actively reminding your brain that the hostile, vengeful world you typically perceive is an illusion. It's that savage fantasy we talked about earlier. By literally calling it not real, you are completely stripping it of its power to cause you fear. And finally, we bring the mantras all the way back full circle to the main lesson statement. For the fourth and final phrase of this visual practice sequence, you look at another object and say, what I see is a form of vengeance. In the context of doing this exercise, you're just calmly calling out your ego. You are recognizing the projection for exactly what it is. You're looking at the illusion and saying, yep, that's just a reflection of my own internal attack thoughts.
Section 4. The final question.
So you'll keep repeating those 4 phrases slowly as you look around for a full minute. But the text doesn't just end the exercise there. There's one specific thing you must do to seal the practice. At the end of the minute, the text instructs you to ask yourself this one powerful concluding question. Is this the world I really want to see? After spending a minute recognizing that this whole world of attack is just a perishable, unreal fantasy, you check in with yourself. Do I want to keep choosing this? According to the text, once you truly understand what you've been doing to your own perception, the answer is surely obvious. Absolutely not. No one wants to live in a savage fantasy. To really anchor everything we've covered in this explainer, let's look at that main lesson text one last time as a memorable visual summary. What I see is a form of vengeance. Notice how it doesn't feel quite so scary anymore? It's no longer a terrifying statement. It's just a tool for awareness. It's the key to realizing that the hostility is coming from you, which is the most joyous news ever because it means you have the power to stop projecting it. You actually have the power to escape. Before we wrap up, here's a quick summary cheat sheet for today's practice based on the source text. Keep this in mind as you go about your day. You need to do this at least 5 times today. Each session should be at least 1 minute long. And during that minute, you are just slowly looking around and repeating those 4 phrases, ending with that final, powerful question. I really hope this explainer has helped you unpack this incredible lesson and gives you a clear, structured way to dive into the practice. If you found this helpful and want to keep learning with me in this structured way, please make sure to like this explainer and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. And before you go, I'll leave you with this thought. If your own anger is what's painting the world you see right now, what could you paint it with instead if you just let that anger go? Have an amazing, peaceful day of practice.